Hi, good morning. We're going to talk about combining like terms and the distributive property today. The first thing we're going to talk about is some vocab, and the first one is term. Okay, what is a term? A term can be a number, it could be a variable, or the product of a number and variables. Okay, so for an example, is 2 a term? Yes, because it's a number. Is X a term? Yes, because it's a variable. 2x is a term because it's the product of a number and or variables. 3x squared y is a term because, again, it's the product of a number and variables. 9x squared plus 3y is not a term. And the reason why this one's not a term is because they're being added. Now, each one of these is a term, like 9x squared and 3y. Those are two terms, but together it is not a term because we have that addition sign. Okay? A coefficient is the number being multiplied by a variable. So if we have 7x, the coefficient would be 7. If we had 9x squared, the coefficient would be 9. Okay? A constant is a number without a variable. So just like 5, 9. Okay? Like terms, okay, for them to be alike, they have to have the same variable and exponent. So for example, like 9x and 3x. 15x squared and 9x squared. 2x squared y and 5x squared y. Those are all like terms because they have the same variables and the same exponent. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add and subtract these like terms. To be able to add and subtract, they have to be alike. If they're not alike, you cannot add them. Okay. And what we do is we're going to add or subtract the coefficients. So we're going to add or subtract the coefficients. And we're going to leave the variable and the exponent the same. They do not change. Okay. So as I look at example 1 here, 2x and 5x are like terms. So we're going to add the coefficients, which is 2 and 5. So 2 plus 5 is 7. And we leave the x alone. So you get 7x. Number 2 here, we have 7x minus 5 plus 2x plus 9, okay, are like terms. 7x is alike with 2x. We always follow the sign directly in front of the coefficient. So we're going to take 7x plus 2x, gives us 9x. Then we also have the constant of negative 5 and positive 9. So we have negative 5 plus 9 is a positive 4, so we put a plus sign between 9x and 4. Now, these are unlike 9x and 4, so this is your final answer. Number 3, okay, we have 2x, negative 2x, is alike with 3x. It is not alike with that x squared because it does not have an exponent. So negative 2x can be added to 3x. When we add those, we get 1x. Now with 1x, you can leave it as just a single x. Okay. Then we have this negative 4x squared, because we follow the sign in front of it. We have this negative 3x squared. So negative 4 minus 3, if we change, gives us negative 7x squared. The variable and the exponent stays the same. Okay, and then we still have a negative 2 there, so we're going to put minus 2. So you can write it as 1x minus 7x squared minus 2, or you can write it as x minus 7x squared minus 2. And there you go. All right, the distributive property is used when you cannot use orders of operation to simplify your parentheses. B plus C, they're not like terms because they're different variables, so you could not add or subtract those. So the distributive property says I can take this outside number and multiply it to everything on the inside. So A times B would be AB, and A times C would be AC. They're both positive, so we put a plus sign. If it's a minus, the only thing that changes is you're going to have AB minus AC. All right, so example 1 here. So if you look inside x plus 5, those are unlike terms, so we cannot add those. So the only way to get rid of them is by distributing this 2 throughout the parenthesis. So we're going to take 2 times x and then 2 times a positive 5. So 2 times x is just 2x, and 2 times 5 is a positive 10. I cannot add 2x plus 10, so that is your final answer. Now, number 2 here, again, we cannot simplify the parenthesis, okay? But we do have a negative sign on the outside, and what that means is I have a negative 1 being multiplied to everything on the inside, okay? All right, so we're going to take negative 1 times 3x, and then we're going to take negative 1 times a negative 4. So negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x, and a negative 1 times a negative 4 is a positive 4, so we put a plus sign. Negative 3x plus 4 we cannot combine because they are not like terms, so that would be your final answer. Number 3, looking inside your parenthesis, 3x plus 8, 6x minus 4. Those are not like terms, so we can't combine them, but we can remove the parentheses by distributing. So we're going to take 2 times everything. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times a positive 8 is a positive 16. Now for this 5, it's plus 5, so that's a positive 5. So we're going to distribute a positive 5 to everything. So positive 5 times 6x is a positive 30x. Positive 5 times a negative 4 is a negative 20, so we put a minus sign. Now as you look through this, we do have some like terms. We have a 6x and we have a positive 30x. So if I add those, 6x plus 30x would be 36x. And then we also have this positive 16 and a negative 20. So positive 16 minus 20 would be a negative 4. Now we can't combine these, so that is your final answer. All right, number 4 is about the exact same. The only difference here is if you look, we have a negative 2 here. So we're going to distribute a negative 2 through that second one. Okay, so let's do this first one. So we're taking a 3 times everything. So 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times a negative 4 is a negative 12. All right, now this one we're taking a negative 2 times everything. Negative 2 times positive 2 is a negative 4x. A negative 2 times that negative 5 is a positive 10. Okay. Now let's combine like terms. I see a 9x and I see a negative 4x. So 9x minus 4x is 5x. Then we have this negative 12 because it's minus 12 and a positive 10. So negative 12 plus 10 is a negative 2. So I'm just going to put a minus 2. These are not like terms, so that would be your final answer. All right, number 5. Again, we can't do what's inside the parenthesis. So if we look at the first parenthesis, we have this negative 3 I'm going to distribute. And the second one here, we have this minus sign, so we're going to distribute that negative 1. Okay. So negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. And now let's do this negative 1. Negative 1 times 6x is negative 6x. And then a negative times a negative would be a positive 5. Now let's combine like terms. Negative 6x can be combined with negative 6x. So 2 negatives, when you add them, stays negative. And we have negative 12x. A negative 27 and a positive 5. 27 is larger, so it's going to stay negative. So 27 and 5, negative 27 and 5 make a negative 22. Can't combine those, so that is your final answer. And then here's our last one here. Okay, we have 3 parentheses, so we have to distribute 3 times. So the first one I'm going to distribute a 2, the second one a 4, and the third one a negative 2, because it's minus 2. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times a negative 4 is negative 8. Now we're doing positive 4. Positive 4 times x is a positive 4x. A positive 4 and a negative 6 is a negative 24. And then a negative 2 times 6x is negative 12x. And a negative 2 and a positive 4 is negative 8. Now we need to go through, do we have like terms? Yes, I see a positive 6x, a positive 4x, and a negative 12x. So we can go ahead and combine all these at one time. So 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 minus 12 is negative 2x. All right, and then let's look at the negative 8, the negative 24, and the negative 8. So we can go ahead and combine those at the same time. So a negative 8 and a negative 12, negative 32. Negative 32 and negative 8 is a negative 40, so we'll put minus 40. These are not like terms, so this would be our final answer. If you have questions, please let me know.